We're also joined by Amy Kazmin, the South Asia Bureau Chief for the Financial Times. Amy Kazmin, thanks very much for talking to us this afternoon. Your thoughts of how this visit of Donald Trump has gone so far. There was much happening yesterday with that speech of Donald Trump, which was pretty well received here, at least by the government and well, others as well.
Look, I think it's true to say that this visit has gone very well so far. You know, Prime Minister Modi wanted to put on a great show for Donald Trump and turn out huge crowds, and he indeed succeeded in doing that. And we also heard from Donald Trump a very big vision of the U.S.-India partnership. This visit comes at a time when there are some frictions in the relationship, particularly over trade issues. There's some dissatisfaction in Washington and in the U.S. business community about India's growing protectionism, rising tariffs on foreign imports, policy unpredictability that's hurting American companies like Amazon and Walmart. But at the same time, you really heard Donald Trump taking a very positive tone and really focusing on the big picture of the role that he wants to see India play as a strategic and defense partner of the United States in guaranteeing the kind of security order of the Asia-Pacific, now known as the Indo-Pacific region. And Donald Trump, in his speech, made absolute reference to that. He talked about America's desire to supply India with high-tech military and defense weaponry, and really laid out a kind of a big vision of where India fits in the United States worldview. So, I mean, he was definitely looking behind the differences over trade, although it's clear that that won't fall off the agenda, but to a really kind of meta vision of where he sees India and the United States going together. And that's something that I think India would certainly be pleased with, and I think Modi will be pleased with President Trump will certainly have been pleased with, you know, the experience of speaking to humongous crowds at the world's largest cricket stadium.
Right, absolutely. And aside from, of course, all the optics that we saw yesterday, there will be some tough negotiations, not just on trade, but other issues as well. Areas where the Americans are interested, particularly in the energy sector, the telecom sector. We know that the secretaries of both energy, telecom, commerce secretaries here. Amy Kazmin, how do you see those conversations going?
Look, I mean, I think one thing to say is that, you know, this is a very short and tight visit. So it's not clear to me that, you know, I think we're not really expecting that there's going to be long, hard, protracted negotiations at this point in time. You know, right, the meeting between Trump and Mr. Modi, you know, as per the schedule, is actually not that long. I think what this is going to be is a chance for both of the leaders to kind of lay out on the table what their concerns are with the others. I think they already have a package of agreements that they're going to announce. President Trump has already said that India is going to sign $3 billion worth of weapons purchases from the U.S., including advanced naval helicopters and a few other things. So I think that was already done and dusted before the leaders got here. I don't expect this to be, you know, this is not a 3-day summit where we expect them to hammer out, you know, tough agreements like sometimes you've seen of like big leader meetings in the past. This is a brief trip. The one-on-one time, unless it extends longer than the schedule, is actually pretty tight. So it's an opportunity for the two men to kind of really tell each other and communicate to each other what's important, what their priorities are, and then probably turn it back to the staff to try to keep working things out, you know, in the weeks and months ahead. Whatever is to be signed, I think, has already been agreed by the staff, and I think this is more kind of a discussion about, you know, Trump has his eye on the next U.S. election campaign, and, you know, Modi has his eye on India's slowing economy and what can be doing to revive it. So it's about communicating, making each other understand their priorities and their concerns, and giving direction for the relationship in the months to come up until the next election in the U.S.
Right. Amy Kazmin, thanks very much indeed for joining us and sharing your thoughts on the expectations from this short visit of Donald Trump.